What's going on, guys? It's XLT here, and today I'm going to be bringing you the second episode of the Versus series on this channel. We're going to be sticking with the defensive side of the ball for this second episode, and we're going to be focusing on the defensive backfield, specifically the cornerback position. We're going to be comparing two of the more high-profile corners in this year's draft class. Probably going to be the two corners taken in the first round, or the first two cornerbacks taken in this year's draft, and they are Josh Jackson from Iowa and Denzel Ward from Ohio State. So let's jump right into that. Alright, so here we are jumping into our first prospect of the video, and we're going to be looking at Josh Jackson to start things off. Not to be confused with the Josh Jackson that plays for the Phoenix Suns, but nevertheless, we're going to look at his strengths and weaknesses. Some of the strengths I have down for Josh are his speed and size combination. He's very athletic for 6'1". I mean, 6'1" is not a huge size, but for a corner, it's a very good size, and pairing that with his athleticism and his speed is very good. He's probably going to run somewhere in the low 4.5 range, 4.51, 4.52 at the combine, which isn't great, but it's pretty good speed. I said that he's very good in jump ball situations. He plays the ball in the air very aggressively, and he goes and gets it, tries to tip any pass or intercept any pass that he can get his hands on. He's good in deep coverage as well, so cover 3 schemes, man schemes on go routes, just those type of plays. You can bet that Josh Jackson's probably going to be the one making the play and not the wide receiver. And I said that he has great ball skills. He leads the FBS in interceptions with 8, and he had 3 of those against Ohio State, which is probably his best game of the year. He had some insane interceptions, and he's just a playmaker and a ball getter in the secondary. Some of his weaknesses, I said that he gives up inside routes too easily. He plays to the outside of receivers, but if a receiver runs a slant, I mean, he's probably going to get by Josh, which is something he's going to have to work at the next level. I understand that he had Josie Jewell on the inside who could check a route runner or pick off a pass even if he needed to at Iowa, but he may not have that at the second level. Another weakness was, I said, that there was little to no jamming at the line. He's not very physical. He kind of waits for the wide receiver to make a move and then reads the wide receiver, which isn't terrible, but then again, sometimes it can get you burnt at the next level, especially when you're going up against guys like Brandon Cooks, Tyreek Hill, just speed burner guys. You're going to get dusted if you don't jam them up and be physical with them. And I also said that he was a little to no factor in the run game. He's not a very good tackler. He's not a very sound tackler. He just likes to put his shoulder down and try and make a hit on a wide receiver after they catch the ball, and he doesn't really force anything in the run game. He kind of just sits there and waits to make a tackle. So yeah, that's my evaluation of Josh Jackson. We'll jump right into Denzel Ward right now. Alright, so here we are with our second prospect of the video, and we're going to be taking a look at Denzel Ward from Ohio State. I'm a Michigan fan, so I kind of didn't like watching his film, especially in the Michigan game, but he's a high profile cornerback, so I got to take a look at him, got to see what he's about. And he's very different from Jackson in the way that they play. Denzel Ward's more of a physical type of corner. He likes to get up in your face, jam you, not give you a lot of room at the line of scrimmage to breathe. And he's more of a man, shut you down type of guy, whereas Josh is kind of more of a freelance, kind of roaming playmaker type corner. Kind of a little bit of like Marcus Peters in that aspect. But we're not here to talk about Josh Jackson. Well, we did earlier, but we're talking about Denzel Ward right now. And some of the strengths that I have for Denzel Ward are that he is very good in man-to-man situations. He usually shut the wide receivers down that he was going against. He doesn't really give them anything inside. He forces them outside, and he uses the sideline as a defender very well. I said that he's very physical with his pressing. He gets hands-on about 60% of the time when he's lined up one-on-one against a wide receiver, whether it be a zone or a man or anything like that. He likes to press, and he's very good at it. I said that he has great footwork and coverage. You can see as soon as the ball snapped, he's taking steps to set his feet and then to break whichever way the wide receiver breaks, instead of just standing there and being stagnant and letting the wide receiver get past him. And I said that he's step for step with every with every wide receiver that he covers. I haven't seen a wide receiver that's just burned him down the field yet. He's step for step with every single guy that he's went up against, and he's gone up against some pretty good guys. Donovan Peoples-Jones out of Michigan. He's gone up against Simi Cobbs from Indiana, who are both very good wide receivers, and he's step for step with all of them. He doesn't give any type of ground. He's with you the entire way. He's on your hip. Some of the weaknesses I had for Denzel were that he struggles against bigger wide receivers. He's not really a jump ball type guy. If you can find a way to get the ball to to a taller wide receiver at the next level, like a Mike Evans or an AJ Green, he's probably going to struggle against those guys a little bit. He's not a very sure tackler. There was multiple plays where he just tried to tackle and the guys just shed him just because he's kind of a smaller guy, and he just didn't wrap up very well. And the last weakness I had for him was that he reacts to the wide receiver too much, and it costs him sometimes. I noticed in the Indiana game, he was trying to read the wide receiver instead of maybe looking back and trying to find the ball. He was just purely reading the wide receiver's hands and eyes. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, he's a shutdown corner for most of the part, but I just noticed that he didn't get his head around as much as some people would like him to. So yeah, I've done both of the evaluations for these players. Now we're going to get into how I graded them out. So here we are at the grading portion of the video. We're going to be going over the grade of Josh Jackson first. I graded him overall at an 80 out of 100, obviously. His speed, a 9. Ball skills, 10. He's got the best ball skills in the country, in my opinion. Man, 9. Zone, 8. Play rec, 7. And tackling, 5. I gave him a 9 speed because he's not the fastest cornerback on the field. He's not going to run the fastest 40, but he's pretty fast. Ball skills 10, like I just said, best ball skills in the country in my opinion. Man 9, I just think that his man's better than his zone, and that his man is very, very good, especially in deep route situations and jump ball situations. Zone an 8, he doesn't play the flats super well, but he does play deeper zones pretty good, and any other zone, intermediate, stuff like that, plays it very well. Play rec 7, I saw sometimes he would just run with the wide receiver and not get back to the play if it was like a pitch or a bubble screen or something like that. Tackling 5, he's just not a very good tackler, so I didn't give him a very good grade. And so, yeah, that's the grades that I have for Josh Jackson. So we're going to jump into Denzel's grades right now. All right, so here we are looking at Denzel Ward's grade. I gave him an overall grade of a 76, which I think is pretty fair. He's definitely not as good as Josh Jackson. In my opinion, Josh Jackson's the best corner going into this year's draft. So I think 76 for being the second best corner, in my opinion, is a very good grade. I gave his speed a 10. His ball skills a 7, his man coverage a 9, his zone coverage a 7, his play recognition an 8, and his tackling a 5. I gave his speed a 10 because he's probably going to run the fastest 40 for a power 5 cornerback in this year's draft. Probably going to run somewhere between a 4.46 and a 4.48 maybe. That's kind of a stretch. I don't think he'll run super close to a 4.5, but somewhere in the mid 4.45 range. I give his ball skills a 7. He wasn't really an attacker or an aggressive ball getter when the ball was in the air. He kind of waited just for receivers to go up and get their hands on a ball, and then he would swat the ball away when it was in their hands. Sometimes it, hurt him a little bit. Other times it worked for him, but he didn't show elite level ball skills to me. Man, a 9. He stayed with anybody on any route. Name a guy, name a route in college football. I think Denzel Ward could stick with them. He was very good in that category. I gave his zone coverage a 7. I just thought that his zone wasn't as good as his man. With man, it's kind of just you stick with the guy. It's one guy, you run with him. With zone, you got to watch other people running in and out of your vision. Somebody might be behind you, in front of you, and you don't know it. And he kind of got caught in some mental lapses in there, I saw in some games. So, yeah, that's why his zone's a 7. I gave his play recognition an 8. He liked to stick his nose in there on running plays most of the time. And so I thought that he was very good in diagnosing whether it was a run or a pass and stuff like that. And I gave his tackling a 5, just like Josh Jackson. They're both very similar tacklers. They just go straight for the ankles, not really a lot of technique there, so I had to give them 5. Yeah, so that's both of their grades, and now I'm going to be going over where I think they can go in the NFL draft this year. Alright, so here we are at the end of the video, looking at where I think these two guys can end up going in the NFL draft. I have Josh Jackson going anywhere from 11 to 20. 11 being the Dolphins, 20 being the Lions. I think he fits best with the Lions. They have an immediate need at cornerback, and I think that Josh Jackson would pair very well with Darius Slay. That would be two formidable playmakers in the secondary for that team, along with Glover Quinn, who's led the NFL in interceptions, or pretty close to led the NFL in interceptions since like 2013 or something like that. That team would cause a lot, or not that team, but that secondary would cause a lot of commotion in the NFC North and in the NFL just in general. 11 is probably the earliest I see him going, and that's to the Dolphins. They just have an immediate need anywhere on the defense, besides strong safety that's locked up by Rashad Jones, but I think they have a more immediate need at offensive guard or tackle. just to protect Ryan Tannehill, who they've indicated is their franchise guy. So I think they go offense, and I think that Josh Jackson goes number 20 to the Lions. And looking at Denzel Ward, actually I have him penciled in as the 23rd overall pick to the Rams right now. I think that he would pair very well with the guys in that secondary. You've got John Johnson out of Boston College, who was a rookie this year, who played very well. LaMarcus Joyner, who's been playing very well this year too. Tremaine Johnson, who's a little bit older, but I think that he's a very good cornerback. Not elite level, but I think that he's probably a top 15 cornerback in the NFL. And I think that if you throw Denzel Ward on the other side of Tremaine Johnson, that'd be a very good cornerback pair as well. And I just think that, you know, their offense is pretty much locked up besides their offensive line. They've got all their pieces for the future on the offensive side of the ball. They need to bolster up their defense just a little bit if they want to make deeper playoff runs than what they did this year. So yeah, that's going to be it for the video, guys. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Leave a comment letting me know which players or positions you think I should do for the next episode in this series. I'm going to have a lot more content coming out here in the next few months while draft season and draft type really kicks up and stuff like that. I'll have some NFL end of the year awards, who I think should get awards, who I think should be first team, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, like I said, leave a like, subscribe, and this has been XLT signing out.